Okay, let's just get right into it. A big hailstorm. It's chaotic, it's stressful, but you know what? Once the ice finally stops falling, that's when a whole different kind of challenge kicks in, dealing with your insurance claim. Getting this right can mean thousands and thousands of dollars in your pocket for repairs. Getting it wrong? Well, that's exactly what we're here to prevent. Think about it. The storm itself is over in a flash. The sun pops back out, everything seems calm, and it's so tempting to just breathe a huge sigh of relief and think, okay, the worst is over. But honestly, that's a really dangerous assumption to make. Because here's the thing you really need to know. The second that last hailstone hits the ground, an invisible clock starts ticking. This is your claim window, and trust me, it is not nearly as long as you'd hope. Waiting around or, just not knowing the rules of the game, that can lead to a flat-out denied claim or a super lowball offer that leaves you paying for most of the damage yourself. So in this explainer, we are going to walk through every single step to make sure you get every penny you're entitled to. So, the hail has stopped pounding your roof. Now what? Well, what you do in these next few hours, it's everything, absolutely critical. Let's break down the 3 most important things to do right away. First things first, always safety. Look for downed power lines, shards of broken glass, any immediate dangers. Got it? Okay. Once it's safe, you start inspecting. And this next part is a big one. Your policy actually requires you to protect your property from getting worse. The official term is mitigating damages. And what does that actually mean, mitigating damage? It's just about taking simple, temporary steps. Think of it like this: throwing a tarp over a hole in your roof so rain can't get in, boarding up a smashed window, or even just setting up some fans to dry out a soggy carpet to stop mold. And a pro tip, keep the receipts for any tarps or plywood you buy. That stuff is usually reimbursable. Okay, the immediate crisis is handled. Now it's time to put on your detective hat. Seriously, a winning insurance claim is built on a mountain of solid, undeniable proof. So get your phone out, because you are about to become a crime scene photographer for your own house. There's no such thing as too many photos. What are you looking for? Check for those little dents in your metal gutters and siding. Get up close on your roof shingles. Look for bruises or cracks. A huge giveaway is finding a pile of what looks like coarse black sand coming out of your downspouts. Those are the protective granules that got knocked off your shingles. And don't forget to look up inside. Any new water stains on the ceiling are a major red flag. Now, this is a trap so many homeowners fall into. They walk outside, they don't see a giant hole in the roof, and they think, phew, dodged a bullet. But that is so often not the case. See, hail doesn't always punch clean holes. A lot of the time, it creates these tiny little bruises and micro cracks in your shingles that you can't even see from the ground. Then, over weeks and months, the sun and the rain work on those weak spots until, bam, you've got a leak, long after you've forgotten all about the storm. This is exactly why getting a professional inspection is so important, even if things look okay at first glance. And that is why you cannot afford to wait. Remember that invisible clock we talked about? It is very real. As you can see here, most insurance policies only give you about 6 to 12 months from the storm's date to file. If you wait until that hidden damage finally turns into a visible leak a year from now, you could be completely out of luck. All right, you've assessed the damage, you know time is of the essence. Now for the fun part, actually understanding your insurance policy. I know, but stick with me, because this is where the money is. We gotta decode the jargon that decides how much you actually get paid. First up, the deductible. It's super simple, it's just your share of the repair bill. If you have, say, $10,000 in damage and a $1,000 deductible, the insurance company pays $9,000, you're on the hook for that first $1,000. Now, deductibles come in 2 main flavors. You've got your simple dollar amount, a fixed number like $1,000. But a lot of policies now have a percentage deductible, and this is the tricky one. It's a percentage of your home's total insured value, not the cost of the damage. So a 2% deductible on a $300,000 home is a $6,000 deductible. You have got to know which one you have. Okay, next term you'll hear is actual cash value, or ACV. Think of this as the used value of your damaged stuff. It's not what a new one costs. It's the new price minus a big chunk for how old it is. That's depreciation. On the other hand, you have replacement cost value, or RCV. Now this is the good stuff. RCV pays what it actually costs to replace your damaged property with a brand new one with 0 deduction for age. This is the policy you want. Let's make this super clear with an example. So, a hailstorm wrecks your 5-year-old TV.
A similar new one today, the replacement cost is $2,500. But since your old TV was about halfway through its expected 10-year life, an ACV policy subtracts 50% for depreciation, so you only get $1,250. An RCV policy, though, works to get you that full $2,500. It's a huge difference.
Okay, you've done your homework, you've filed the claim, now comes the main event. The insurance adjuster is coming over. This meeting is one of the most important moments of this whole process. It is your chance to really advocate for yourself. So, how do you make sure you're in the driver's seat during that meeting? It's not just about showing them your pictures. It's all about asking smart, targeted questions that force them to do a thorough job.
Okay, you might want to write these down. 2 powerful questions. First, did you perform a brittleness test on the shingles? Why ask this? Because older shingles get brittle and you can't repair them without causing more damage. If they fail this test, it justifies a whole new roof, not just a patch job. The inspection's over, the adjuster gives you the good news. Your claim is approved. Then the check comes in the mail, and it's for way less than you expected. This happens all the time, and it's where a lot of people lose out on a ton of money.
If you've got that good RCV policy, you're going to hear this term, recoverable depreciation. What on earth is that? It's simply that gap between the new price and the used price. Think of it like a security deposit. It's the money the insurance company holds back until you prove you've actually done the repairs. And here's how you get it back. It's a 2-check system, and you got to follow the steps. First, they send you a check for the actual cash value, minus your deductible. It's usually just enough to get the work started. Then you get the repairs done. You pay your contractor. Then you send that final paid invoice to your insurance company. Only then will they cut you that second check for the recoverable depreciation.
Let's look at a real-world example from one of the sources. A $5,000 furnace gets destroyed. After they figure out the depreciation and take out the deductible, the homeowner gets that first check, and it's only for $1,300.
But they get the new furnace installed, they send in the final invoice, and boom, that second check arrives. Their total payout jumps all the way up to $3,300. That's an extra $2,000 they would have completely lost if they hadn't followed through.
And here is the critical warning, you guys. There's a deadline on this. Most policies give you about 180 days or maybe a year to get the work done and claim that depreciation. You wait too long, you miss that deadline, and that second check, it's gone. Boof, forever. Okay, whew, I know that was a lot. So let's boil it all down into a final, super simple checklist. This is your game plan for handling a hail claim from beginning to end. Let's run through it. Number 1, the second it's safe, get outside, inspect everything, and stop any more damage from happening.
Number 2, pictures, pictures, and more pictures. Document every single little thing. You can't have too much evidence.
Number 3, pull out that policy. You have to know your deductible and if you have that cheap ACV or the good RCV coverage before you even pick up the phone. Number 4, when the adjuster shows up, don't just be a bystander. You are an active participant. Ask those powerful questions we talked about.
And finally, the big one, number 5. If you have an RCV policy, you have to follow through. Finish the repairs, submit the paperwork, and claim every single dollar you are owed. Do not leave your money on the table.
Look, at the end of the day, your insurance policy is a contract. It's a promise. You've held up your end of the bargain by paying your premiums month after month, year after year. So the only real question is, after the next storm hits, will you be prepared to make sure they hold up theirs?